Hello, I am back indeed. I am back indeed. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Oh, please go away. God. Twitter being a pain in the ass as always. Elon wants me to pay more money to be able to go live on Twitter. That's not going to happen. Good try though, Elon. Anyway, welcome guys. Hello. I'm trying to get the other services going here. Give me a sec. There we go. Instagram screaming, whatever. Streaming, maybe not screaming. There we go. Substack is rolling. Excellent. Tina on Substack. Excellent. All right, good. I've got Substackers going. Excellent. All right, good. And you guys are good. TikTok I did not set up yet, so that's going to take a hot second. Hey, Jennifer. Hey, James. All right. Sorry. Like I said, I was like last minute mutzing with news and an email, and then I went, hey, crutch. And then I went, it's already, time. Wait, hold on. Going live here. I looked here today. TikTok live. Come on, TikTok. Oh, my God. The slowness. Oh, my God. Amanda's over on Twitch too. She's everywhere. All right, hold on, guys. Just setting up TikTok. My iPad, TikTok is just like, even though my iPad's like 3 years old, which shouldn't be that old, for TikTok, it's a little old. But I don't really feel like getting a new iPad because it just seems kind of ridiculous. I mean, like my iPad works fine, even if TikTok's being a pain. All right, let's look here. Last little look here. Come on. My God, my DJ career. I don't think I need a little sign about my DJ career slowing my page down, TikTok, but thanks. My DJ career. Really? Oh my God. I just go on. Jesus Christ. Ah, la 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 la. All right. All righty. We're good to turn the screen around. Boom. All right. I can manage AI summaries and settings. Whatever. Anyway, all right, guys. I'm here. We're good. So, yes, lots of news. Oh, let me grab my other iPad that I use for my notes. One moment. There we go. I had to grab my notes that I do electronic, thanks to Jens or somebody. I know. I was going away for the weekend. The people who place I was staying at wanted to leave Thursday night, which is fun anyway. So I missed Thursday night, then I missed Friday because I was with them, and then I missed weekend shows because I was there. So it was very nice. It was nice to get away. They've got a really lovely dog, so I got to play with the dog all weekend. The dog liked me. Apparently the dog does not, the dog is friendly, but doesn't like befriend too many people, and the dog totally fell in love with me, which was very cute. So that was nice. Come on. I'm waiting for my messages to update here. Come on. Oh my God. They're annoying me here. Sorry, la la la. Notify anyway. There we go. Okay. All right. Anyway, just waiting for my notes to update here so I can get my notes for the show. But anyway, welcome, guys. We've got a lot of news today. Birthday stream for you, kind-hearted. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Everybody else. Anyway, yeah, so it's Monday. So anyway, it was nice to get away. It was just sort of, we went to like kind of rural-ish Virginia. Like a good, actually, I'm going to maybe send this to myself again. About a mile and a half outside of town in Virginia, which was very nice. I'm going to send myself this again because my notes did not make it, and I'm a little annoyed. Let's try this. All right, Iran notes, send. iPad, send. They're not showing up. I don't know why. This is going to annoy me. But notify anyway. That's me. I basically text them. I may have to email them. I text them to myself, which usually works. And today, for whatever crazy reason, oh, there we go. There we go. I had to shut my text and reopen it again because Apple's being goofy. All right. Well, anyway, welcome everybody. We've got good amount of news today. Kind of crazy news all over the place. Start with the Iran war stuff, and then we'll move to, we've got some Ukraine stuff, reflecting pool stuff, pretty funny stuff there. Trump is furious at Jeanine Pirro, which is always a fun story. So I think we will just get moving in all of this. So welcome everybody. I'm John Arvosis. So the way the show works is I've got a bunch of news that I go through that I think is important. I'll tell you why, give you the backstory on it. Second, we open up or second part of the show, depending how long it goes. Thank you for the gifts, Dario. We open it up, your guys' questions about whatever you want. So we'll go from there. What else? Oh, gifts. Gifts are always a big deal. Very much appreciate the gifts. So keep them coming. TikTok, YouTube, etc. I will try to do a call out on the bigger gifts. Call out on it. Lots of little things that would interrupt the show too much. So I apologize for that in advance. Thank you, Cynthia. Or Cynthia. Let's get rolling though, guys. So Iran. I don't even have to tell you what happened with Iran. You can guess. You can guess what happened with Iran. Donald Trump lied. Donald Trump flip-flopped. Donald Trump caved. Ta-da! So we head into the weekend, and Trump is, I'm going to bomb Iran, and it's going to be historic, never before seen, because they won't negotiate. Bah, 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 bah. He's lying, of course, because he's terrified of this war. Then next thing that happens, oops, actually the volume's too high. That's the first, there we go. The volume was actually too high, probably popping. That should be better now. So he says, I'm going to bomb Iran. They're not willing to negotiate. Blah, blah, blah. Then Saturday or so, oh my God, we've had a breakthrough. I don't have to bomb Iran anymore because they've agreed to all of our terms. Trump literally came in and said they've agreed to pretty much all of our terms. He called it he wanted to say some kind of an agreement, meaning like a draft agreement, and he called it a perimeter agreement, which I've never heard of before. We have a perimeter agreement with Iran. I was like, okay, whatever the hell that means. Most of the issues are agreed. They've agreed to give up their nuclear ambitions. And your reading is going, well, that's a bunch of bullshit. Obviously, Iran didn't give up its nuclear ambitions, and it didn't reopen the Strait of Hormuz. But Trump claimed this on Saturday. But okay, what do you? Now, the Iranians this weekend turned around and said, "We're not negotiating with anybody. What's he talking about? We're not." Literally, the Iranians said, "We've sent no negotiators on their computers at our home in Tehran, and we're not negotiating with Trump." Trump comes out today. I'm mad at the Iranians. They're refusing to negotiate. They're duplicitous. They promised me everything. They gave me nothing. Really, Donald? Really? He lied again. Guys, I mean, at this point, I actually have one of the earlier tweets from when he lied from Benny Johnson, who's one of the big MAGA influencers. And the Benny Johnson tweet is great. It's from April. And it's Trump's early lies. Wait, where is this? Let me find this. Come on, Benny. Where is it? Come on. I've got it here somewhere. I copied it this weekend. Hopefully I've got it. I think, oh yeah. Oh, it's still syncing. That's okay. Bad. It's still syncing. That's why. Benny. Here we go. Benny Johnson, right? We've got April 17th, 2026. April, right? It's April, May, June, July, August. 4 months ago now, actually. Almost 4 months ago. Trump just told CBS News Iran has agreed to everything, quote unquote. Iran will permanently stop enriching uranium. Iran will completely cut off support for all toxic terrorist groups. He also said ground troops will not be necessary to retrieve Iran's enriched uranium. Trump's maximum pressure campaign is working. Iran is caving. They're desperate for a deal. This is April 17th that Trump's biggest blogger supporter is quoting Trump from CBS News. Iran has agreed to everything. This is April. Absolutely insane. Absolutely, completely insane. Yeah. You know. All right, we're going to do a quick sound check here since people are complaining left or right. There's nothing I can do about the audio. TikTok or YouTube sucks. Are people able to hear now? TikTok, I'm assuming as always the audio is fine. I want to know specifically YouTube, Substack, Discord. What's for you guys? Because I had it too loud that it was popping before. All right, telling me you can't hear me doesn't help. Sorry, I need like specifics from people. Like volume. Volume, is it cutting out? The problem. There we go. It's going in and out. Oh, that's probably not me. Oh, that's probably StreamYard. I'm going to let me refresh the page because that's StreamYard. Hold on, guys. You guys can find it on TikTok. TikTok is, see, that's the weird part. TikTok is makes absolutely no sense that TikTok is fine because it's the same freaking microphone, you know? Actually, am I still on my laptop? My good mic now. Yeah, today it's on my good mic. Let's turn off the echo cancellation. I turned off the echo cancellation, see if that's any better. All right, how's that? Is it better now? I turned off the echo cancellation. See, for you guys, like I said, for TikTok, thank God, it's always fine. I'm still on my good mic. You know, the echo cancellation may have turned itself on. Volume went down. Don't do this to me. Oh my God. You know what annoys me? This worked forever. It totally worked forever, and now it's like fucked up. For some people it's better, for some people it's worse. Well, adjust the volume on your end and see if the volume's fine. Let's try that first, all right? TikTok, you're fine. We're dealing with the other guys, right? Just adjust your volume and see if that works on Substack, Discord, and YouTube. Right? I don't care if I'm whispering. I asked you whether you can adjust your volume. That's my question. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you. Amanda's giving me good feedback. Okay, this really sucks, though. You know what? I'm going to put the echo cancellation back on. They changed something. I hate when they do this. Volume should be at max. I put echo cancellation back on. Did it turn the volume back up? So I turned it. Sorry, guys, on TikTok. This is a mess. All right, still low on the sound. I can put it a little louder there. The problem is if I go too loud, it's going to pop. And I just made the volume slightly louder too. All right. Oh my God, it's so annoying. The weird part is TikTok, it's always fine. And I literally have the same microphone and it just comes to the box and then part of the box goes to my computer, part of the box goes to you guys. And it always goes well, good to TikTok and goes bad to everybody else. That's better? Okay. All right. All right. So the echo stuff needs to be on and I turned the volume up a little bit, but that's all we can do. Yeah, well, it's not just YouTube. This today is a StreamYard problem today because people are getting it. People were getting it on Substack, on Substack as well. So that means it's a StreamYard problem because it was a couple different ones there. Yeah, audio shouldn't be in and out. It's plugged in fine, but I'm just plugging in my stuff again. But no, the audio, there's only one in and one out, and it should be fine. Hold on here. I'm going to do that thing. The audio should be fine. Yeah, I've got everything plugged in. Yeah, squiffy isn't a word in American English. Yeah, sorry guys, it keeps coming in and out. I don't know why. All right. Anyway, yeah, guys, keeps cutting out or loud then really quiet. I mean, the thing is, I can turn the volume down, but then you guys, sorry, TikTok, but then you guys can't hear anything. I think this is a StreamYard problem today. Because then if I turn the volume down, then you say you can't hear me. I'm not going to automatically adjust the volume. That was problem before. I've got cancellation back on, even though it shouldn't need it, because I've got a good mic. You know what we're going to do? This is pissing me off, though. Computer mic, cancellation off. All right, now we're using my computer mic and see if that's in it. For TikTok, you're still fine. You still got the good mic, but for everybody else, I'm using my computer mic now. It's going to be echoing, but at least it should work. What do you think? I know gremlins in the system, very annoying. No, TikTok, I know TikTok works, okay, but it's nice. We like to use the other services too, because you can never be too safe, you know? All right, guys, now you got my regular computer mic, the rest of you. So we're just gonna do that. Yeah, good as we can do. Yeah, I figured at least it's not gonna do the weird whatever the hell's going on with the system. I don't know. I can try to unplug and replug stuff later. What I'll probably do is reboot my computer, reboot the microphone, but I don't want to sort of, Squiffy is drunk in the UK? Oh, that's funny. We don't use that here. No, I did not know that. I never did not know that. Well, TikTok would crackle when I get too loud because my volume is on too loud in that case. Yeah, that's weird. It must be something from StreamYard, not clear why, but something weird must have been going on. Well, that was fun. Pissed, exactly. I do know what pissed means. Pissed in the UK means drunk. In America, pissed means super angry, pissed off. But in the UK, pissed means drunk, which is funny. My old lives are archived on YouTube. They're not archived on TikTok because TikTok makes it too hard. Alexa, lower the temperature 1 degree. TikTok allows you to download your live and then re-upload it. It's horrible quality. I mean, it's like in downloading it takes half an hour because it's a huge file and it's always shitty quality. So I don't know why TikTok, it seems kind of stupid to me. One of the most obvious things for TikTok to do would be save the live, put it up for a day, maybe. Thank you, Addie, for the gift. Put it up for a day, maybe, right? And then that way people can listen to it and, it's anyway. Anyway, all right, let's keep going. We figured we kind of solved that at least, having to use my regular computer, but what do you do? All right, so Iran. So, oh, hello, Gene. I haven't seen that. Oh, I haven't seen that one. Sound spell. That was cool. Sorry. Gene just gave me a cool gift that looked like a bat outfit. I think a bat outfit. Very cool. We could have solar flares, although it's not messing. The thing is, it could be messing with StreamYard. That's what I mean. Something could be messing with StreamYard, but it's not messing because it's very suspicious that they're getting a bad mic and you guys at TikTok are getting good mic when I was using the same mic, right? Makes me think something fishy, but theirs goes through StreamYard, yours does not, which is a third-party service that should work, but Thank you, Roger. Anyway, all right. Yes, you're going to get the room noise. The last thing I can look at is reduce mic background noise. Let's try that. That might actually help. I just reduced the mic background noise for TikTok or for YouTube and everybody. It's the black helicopter. Exactly. It's the black helicopters. It's Jeanine Pirro. She knows that we're going to make fun of her in about 2 seconds. and Trump wants to fire her, and we think it's pretty funny. I actually saw black helicopters once. It was very wild. Anyway, I turned on the background noise cancellation for you guys over there, not for TikTok, for the other guys. So see if that took out, if that helped a little bit. All right, let's keep going. So top U.S. general in Europe, according to the Washington Post, privately warned the Pentagon this week that he lacks sufficient naval forces to continue protecting Israel from incoming ballistic missiles, illustrating how the ongoing war has imposed constraints on the military. General, oh my God, Alexis Grinkowicz, the head of U.S. European Command, sent written notification to senior Pentagon officials saying that without another Navy destroyer, he will be forced to choose defense of the United States homeland over that of Israel. New York Times. So this is all kind of Iran stuff related. New York Times. So we found out last week that someone, our intelligence community suspects Iran, someone was attacking the U.S. water system, like the system we use to distribute water in our cities and stuff, right? To run the water, the whole water, whatever the hell you call it, the water system, I don't know. Someone was attacking it, but they didn't break it. They basically broke in order to show us that they could break in. Thank you, Dawn. To show us that they could break in, but they didn't cause any damage. That's basically a flex. The waterworks, I don't know what you call them. The water supply, yeah, exactly. That basically it was a flex. It was a foreign enemy who wanted to show us if we want to, we can hurt you. And the intelligence community thinks it's Iran. They attacked 7 different states, including Minnesota. Now, that's an important point. They attacked 7 states, including Minnesota. What did Donald Trump do this weekend? He exonerated Iran and blamed Democrats in Minnesota for the attack. We're at war with Iran. Iran is an enemy of the United States, even before the war. They are our enemy. They are, like it or not. Trump defended an enemy that we are at war with and blamed Democrats for what our intelligence community thinks is likely an attack on the United States by a foreign enemy we're at war with. Trump defended that enemy. Listen to this. Trump gets asked about the attacks and says, they blame it on Iran, meaning his intelligence community and his administration. They blame it on Iran. I don't think so. I think that Minnesota is behind it. You know who's behind it? Minnesota, because they're grossly incompetent. I don't think there was any Iranian cyber attack. I think Minnesota ought to get its act together. Only problem? Trump already knew this. It wasn't just Minnesota. There were 7 United States attacked by this party. 7 that were attacked. And Trump blamed Minnesota. Oh, did Minnesota attack the other 6 U.S. states as well? Is that what happened, Donald? This is dangerous stuff. This is literally treason in this case. You are literally providing aid and comfort to an enemy of the United States at war. During wartime is one of the big requirements for treason, and that's why generally when people accuse people of treason, it doesn't really work because you've got to be at war. We're literally at war, and the commander-in-chief is defending a foreign enemy that appears to have attacked our country. From what the experts are saying, they believe it's Iran. No proof, not definitive proof yet, believe it's Iran, and Trump is defending them. So this is the kind of sick stuff we have to deal with in our country now. You are correct, Kurt. That's the kind of sick stuff we've got to deal with now in our country, is this kind of crap. And again, it's treasonous behavior, but under the law, you don't provide aid and comfort to an enemy of the United States when we are at war. I mean, imagine if a Democrat had done this. We're at war. He's defending them. And again, it's especially, like I said, because he's blaming, and by the way, I didn't explain, the reason he's blaming Minnesota, it's a state run by Democrats, and they have a large Somali population, immigrants from Somalia. He doesn't like immigrants from Somalia because they're black, because they're Muslim, and because one of his biggest critics is a congresswoman who immigrated from Somalia. Because of that, Trump is exonerating and defending a foreign enemy of the United States who we are currently at war with. That's how effed up this is. The reflecting pool. Okay, this story will make you feel better. The reflecting pool, Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool update. This is sort of a massive update. You may know Friday night, but more has happened since Friday night because I've had time to really read through this stuff. So Friday night or so, I guess, we find out that the Justice Department, well, okay, let's step back. Let's step back. You all know that Trump basically had 5 or 6 people arrested for allegedly trying to tear pieces off of the reflecting pool or the Lincoln Memorial, right? Wasn't clear they had proof of anyone doing it. Looked like several of the people at least found a piece floating in the water, but there was no proof that anybody tore anything. Then you get the question of, even if they did tear it, if it was already destroyed, because we now know the contractor did it. If the contractor so screwed up the sealant that the sealant was destroyed and had to be replaced entirely, are you really damaging something that's a total wreck that has to be replaced entirely? It's an interesting legal argument, right? What happens? Friday night, Donald Trump's Department of Justice files a brief to the court. This is the case of David Hearn. David Hearn is the former Olympian who went and stuck his hand in the water, and the Park Service employee says, I saw him try to rip a piece off of the flap coming up, the flap from the damage already caused by the contractor. I saw him try to rip a piece. So they arrested him. Well, and this is amazing. So the Department of Justice, Trump's lawyers as president, files a brief, a document with the court. And the Department of Justice, run by Jeanine Pirro, who is crazy MAGA lady, right, says to the court, we want you to drop the case against David Hearn. We, the US government, want you to throw our case out because it's garbage. Now, again, we're talking about Donald Trump's Justice Department, right? You and I know the case is garbage, but for Donald Trump's Justice Department to admit the case is garbage is shockingly truthful. Why did they say it's garbage? Because, and I mean, very strong language in this document. They said, we tried dozens and dozens of times to get the Department of the Interior. The Department of the Interior oversees the Park Service, oversees the Lincoln Memorial. We tried dozens and dozens of times, that's the quote, to get information from the Department of the Interior about the rips and the problems with the pool, right? And they refused to tell us anything. They gave us dribbles, small amounts of information. They refused to tell us anything. Finally, in the last couple days, the Department of the Interior informs the U.S. Attorney's Office, the prosecutors, the people going after David Hearn and the others, oh, you know all those tears in the pool? They weren't caused by vandals. The Department of the Interior determined they were caused by a shoddy workmanship by the contractor Trump hired. That in fact, the pool fell apart because Trump did a bad job. The other thing the U.S. Attorney's Office says in the brief, they say, A, all of the damage was caused by the contractor's negligence, and B, the other factor was, and I love this because they didn't say who, that they used the passive voice. The project was rushed in order to be finished in time for America 250, which was the 250th anniversary of the country that was this past July 4th, a month ago. The project was rushed to be done in time for America 250. Who do you think rushed the project to be done in time for America 250? It was Donald Trump. Trump ordered all this stuff be done. Same thing happened in the park near me. Trump ordered it to be done in 4 months. The guys told me it was a 2-year job. They told him it was a 2-year job, and he said, do it in 4 months. And they did double overtime, spent millions of dollars more, and they got it done because they spent millions of dollars. So what's amazing is Trump's own U.S. attorneys blamed him and blamed the contractor for all the damage. So they threw out the case. What gets interesting, and this is what I sort of noticed this today. I was talking to a friend of mine, and we're both lawyers, and reading through the brief, the legal document, it gets even more interesting. There was a response already from the attorneys representing David Hearn, and they said, well, interestingly enough, we asked the Justice Department to give us a copy of the testimony from the grand jury. They go to the grand jury to say, will you indict this person? And they present evidence to the grand jury, the government does, and his defense attorney said, we want copies of the evidence. They give it to them. They accidentally left off the second half of the evidence. Oh my God, I love this, accidentally. Well, the first half of the evidence has a National Park Service employee saying, asked, well, do you know, the sealant was already damaged when David Hearn got there. Do you know, in terms of money, how much damage was done before in terms of fixing it, and how much damage did David Hearn do? In other words, what was the monetary value of what already had to be fixed, and how did David Hearn increase the amount of monetary value of money that had to be spent to fix it? I can't answer that. And repeatedly, the Park Service employee says, I can't answer that. This is like 11:30. They go to lunch or something. They come back at noon. The prosecutors put the Park Service guy back on the stand, or woman back on the stand, and says, well, let me ask you again. Do you know how much damage monetarily David Hearn caused? That how much money we have to spend to fix it? Oh yes, well over $1,000, I'm sure. And the prosecutor goes, well, that sounds like a slam dunk closed case. Half an hour before, the Park Service employee had no idea how much it would cost to fix the damage David Hearn did. Half an hour later, after lunch, suddenly the Park Service employee is an expert that knows exactly it's well over $1,000. Oh, it's well over $1,000, you say. What a coincidence. $1,000 is the limit it has to be for it to be a felony, not a misdemeanor, what he did. Did someone coax him in the hall? Did the Park Service employee lie under oath? I don't know. Pretty freaking funny, though, that half an hour earlier, the employee had no idea, and half an hour later, the employee knew. Okay, that's in the legal documents. What else is in the legal documents? The government's legal document shows a picture, a before and after picture of the damage David Hearn allegedly did. The before picture, the Park Service, somebody had taken, I don't know, actually, I think David Hearn himself may have taken the picture. Somebody took the before picture before Hearn put his hand in the water. The Park Service then took an after picture of the water. So they had both. Both pictures are exactly alike. You can see the flap in the water. The flap is the same. Guys, I'm even going to pick this up to show you. It may or may not be easy for you to see because it's a little dark. But let me, hang on a second here. I wasn't going to show you, so here it is. I've got it anyway. I'm just going to show you. This is one of the pictures. This is the other picture. And again, it's a little hard to tell, but this is the flap. The lightly colored area here is the flap. That's the flap, the lightly colored area there. It's the same shape. You'd have to look at it in person, like to look with me. There's no piece missing from the flap. It's the same flap. In other words, it looks like, according to the evidence that they had, that David Hearn didn't do any damage at all. He may have stuck his hand in the water. He didn't rip anything off. The final point, I'm going to move my carpet I'm on because it drives me crazy. Hold on a sec. I still have to get a better carpet, I know, because otherwise this chair is driving me nuts and it's hurting my floor. The other point is the most important. And this was something, like I said, my friend Matt told me about today, and I was like, oh God, you're right. The government lawyers on Friday, in their brief, say, we were lied to by the Department of the Interior. We would have never pursued this case against David Hearn if we knew what we know now. We thought, they told us, the Interior told us that when David Hearn got there, he stuck his hand, right? And he grabbed a flap, the flap coming off the bottom. The reason the flap was coming off because the allegation is David Hearn puts his hand in the water. There's a piece of the sealant already off, disconnected, connected, but ripped off, ripped up. David went in and allegedly ripped a piece of the disconnected sealant off, right? The government lawyers said, we were told that sealant, that the piece that was up in the air, that he ripped a piece, was disconnected because vandals, Donald Trump and everybody said vandals ripped it. Now the Department of the Interior tells us that that piece that was flapping in the water like that was caused by the contractor. So we can no longer prosecute David Hearn. And we all jumped on it and went, oh my God, they're admitting it was the contractor and not the vandals, not the individuals, right? It's much worse than that. And I want to walk you through this again, okay? They allege David Hearn comes up. I mean, I saw this in person and sees in the water that there's a flap of the sealant. The sealant should be connected to the bottom, right? So it has ripped on its own and lifted up, but it's still attached here. But this part has ripped up, right? He sees it there and he reaches in and he grabs the top part, and they allege he rips a piece off the top part. They're saying that, well, it was a crime for David Hearn to reach in and rip off the piece of the sealant if the flap was caused by vandals the week before. But it's not a crime for David Hearn to reach in and rip a piece off the flap if the flap was caused by the contractor. Why would that be? I mean, if you're going to allege that David Hearn ripped a piece of the sealant and took it, it doesn't matter if the sealant was disconnected because a vandal did it the week before or because the contractor did it the week before. Do you get what I'm getting at? They're claiming he ripped it and stole it. He stole it either way. It doesn't matter who made it easier for him to steal it, the contractor or the vandals. They're lying. They're lying. I mean, I hope I'm making this clear enough. This is like a big deal. The prosecutors did not get new information that therefore they had to throw the case out. It was the same information today that they had a week ago. A week ago, they were fine indicting him. Today, they no longer are fine indicting him. Why aren't they? These prosecutors are lying, and they're trying to cover their butts when they're saying, well, it was the new information. That's why we threw it out. So please don't sue us. Please don't file charges against us. Please don't go to the state bar, the bar association, and have us lose our law licenses because we maliciously prosecuted this guy. Because we didn't get perfect information from the Department of the Interior. The Department of the Interior lied to us. But again, the Department of the Interior lied to you about something irrelevant to the case. In that, what they accused David Hearn of wasn't ripping the flap. It was the flap was already ripped. He stole a piece off the tip, they allege. And it doesn't matter if the flap was already ripped by a vandal or if the flap was already ripped by the contractor. The crime was David Hearn allegedly taking a piece of the flap. You get it. So in other words, it was total bullshit what they did this weekend. It was total bullshit what they did this weekend. When they threw it out, they lied. And by the way, final point again, they lied about why they threw the case out. They're still guilty. The point is they're still guilty. They didn't, we had no choice but to charge him because we were lied to. No, you charged him because you wanted to charge him. And the reason you're now using to back out of it isn't a real reason, which means there must be some other reason. Why is it you're not charging him now? Now you're saying you have no case, which means you had no case before. Yeah. No, the 1,000 in damages is another issue. That's a second issue. They can't prove 1,000 in damages. They lied about that. They also, the video, the film evidence, picture evidence proves he didn't damage it, but also they're lying about why they dropped the case. It didn't matter that the contractor was the one who screwed up. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. You get my point. They're accusing David Hearn of stealing the stuff. It doesn't matter how it was damaged before. They're literally saying, however it was damaged, David Hearn stole it. So if it doesn't matter who damaged it first before David Hearn got to it, why should the case be thrown out if a contractor caused the initial damage? I'm glad it got thrown out, but the U.S. attorney's lying about this entire case and lying to the judge, actually, which is interesting as well, because I'm kind of waiting for the judge to get a sense now and say, wait a minute, you're bullshitting me, right? That'll be the next step for the judge to go, that's not an excuse for changing your mind. Yeah, anyway. Oh my God. So that was its own, that took a lot of time. That was its own crazy story. Oh, so Trump is now furious at Jeanine Pirro, or Jeanine, whatever the hell her name is. Is it Jeanine? I always forget. Is that her name? He is considering firing her. They had a very bad phone call on Saturday, and he's considering firing her now. Alexa, raise the temperature 1 degree. So that's kind of fun. Now, the funny part is, she is the most MAGA supporter of his MAGA supporters. For Trump to be pissed at this woman is hilarious. Oh, thank you, Annie. Is absolutely hilarious. It doesn't get funnier than that. Because if he's willing to throw her under the bus, he'll throw anybody under the bus. Jeanine Pirro. But she's horrible. So it's actually quite funny and good that he's, going to fire her. But man, oh man. All right. Exactly. She's going to go buy a box. All right. What else do we have here? Hang on, guys. We have there is a lot of news tonight, actually. We're going to possibly go long tonight. Let's see. Reflecting pool. Oh, God. So Trump and his taxes in January 6th. So Todd Blanche was Donald Trump's personal attorney. He's MAGA and disgusting. He is now Trump's acting attorney general. He's still MAGA and still disgusting. And he thinks the Justice Department should be basically an arm of Donald Trump and just investigate and imprison anybody who Donald Trump doesn't like. In America, we don't do it that way, and we haven't done it until now under Donald Trump. No Democrat, no Republican has ever done this. Nixon kind of tried. Nobody else has tried this. Well, 2 Republican senators were putting their foot down and not going to let Blanche become attorney general. Well, they changed their minds today, and they're going to let him. Why? Because They wanted Blanche to stop two things. One, the January 6th compensation stuff. Remember, Trump initially had created a fund for $1.8 billion, and he was going to pay off the January 6th people. Well, he admitted this weekend that's what he was going to do. He admitted this weekend, he said, I still want the fund, and I specifically wanted to pay off the January 6th people. Literally, he repeated exactly what we knew he wanted to do with the money. So Blanche today writes out a thing for the members of Congress, the Republicans, and says 1.8 billion. Yes. Writes out a thing for the Republicans and says, I revoke any authority for the January 6th fund. It's not going to happen. Well, here's the problem. That fund was a settlement between Donald Trump and the US government. Remember, Donald Trump, the private citizen, sued Donald Trump, the president, and said, you released my taxes, which he did. It did happen under Donald Trump's presidency, actually, ironically enough. You released my taxes, and I want $10 billion as payment for punishment for releasing my taxes. So then Donald Trump, the private citizen, settled with Donald Trump, the president, to set up a $1.8 billion fund to pay off the January 6ers, and Donald Trump himself, his children, his family, his businesses would no longer be audited by the IRS for anything they did up until the date of the settlement. So anything before the date of the settlement, they would never be audited. Any money they owed would not have to be paid. One estimate was $100 million in value. This was to Donald Trump, $100 million that he potentially owed. I'm trying to think where I was with all of this. So those are the two things agreed to. Here's the problem. Todd Blanche writes out something for the senators and says, oh, I rescind the January 6th fund. We're not going to do it. That fund is a legal settlement contract. Now, the judge raised questions about it, but the judge did not throw it out. The judge went after the lawyers and referred them to the state bar, but she didn't throw out the deal. That settlement deal still exists. He wrote a letter saying he's not going to do the settlement deal, at least as it pertains to January 6th and the compensation. That's irrelevant. The deal was a contract between Donald Trump, private citizen, and Donald Trump, President of the United States. Both of them have to agree. Donald Trump made clear this weekend he still wants to do the settlement fund. He tweeted about it a couple times, made it very clear. So Blanche promising this makes no difference. Second of all, Donald Trump doesn't even need the settlement fund in order to give Donald Trump money and to give the January 6ers money. He did the settlement fund so that Congress would appropriate $1.8 billion so that he had the money for sure. Now he's got to steal it from somewhere else. That's why he wanted the money. He wanted the money as a separate fund. The problem is, do you think, well, the fact that Donald Trump will have to steal the money from another budget, he would never do that in order to pay himself and pay off the January 6ers. Really? Again, he exempted himself, so maybe he himself won't take money, but the January 6ers, you don't think Donald Trump's going to give the January 6ers money even if he has to take it from some other budget? That's what he's been doing left and right. The Archie's building, he took from somebody else's budget. That's all he does, right? I mean, he's going to do it anyway, or he's going to do it and then turn to Congress and say, well, I don't have any money. You got to give me money. So that's the first problem, right? So the deal to stop the fund is not a real deal. Second thing, Todd Blanche says, well, we've watered down the part of the settlement that deals with the IRS, the taxes. I think you'll be happy now. We're only going to exempt from taxes, from tax audits, again, from like last month to the beginning of time. We're only going to exempt from tax audits Donald Trump, Don Jr., Eric Trump, and the Trump Organization. The rest of the family you can audit, and the rest of the organizations you can audit. Oh, thanks. So only Donald Trump and his family and his organization get a sweetheart deal that no other American gets, that potentially gets to keep $100 million in money that they illegally didn't give the federal government for taxes? Oh, isn't that sweet? That's what this deal is. And again, Blanche has no ability to change the deal. He can't change the deal unless Donald Trump agrees to change the deal. Donald Trump did not agree to change the deal. Donald Trump did not sign this as Donald Trump, private citizen. Yeah. it's it's obnoxious, basically. Um, what else we got? Tomorrow is Michigan's Democratic U.S. Senate primary. Big deal between Abdul El Sayed and Haley Stevens. Um, Very angry primary. He's a socialist. I mean, he's one of the Democratic socialist people. She's a regular Democrat. So far, he might be ahead. Let's see what the polls say tomorrow. But it's still not clear he can win. In the general, that'll be its own thing if he wins the primary, but we shall see. Um, We've got Iran with Minnesota. We talked about Elon. So Elon this week, just to mention what Elon did, you know, Elon this weekend. Well, if we're gonna play that game, yeah, let's leave out the little weird quasi anti-Semitic insults. Let's not even go there, guys, or the mods are gonna get you, right? Feel free to defend who you want to defend, but let's not play games like, you know, she's this and he's that, because we can all play that game. He's got just as many accusations about him and his family as you've got about her. So let's leave that go. Anyway, Elon tweets this weekend in response to somebody who claimed that the really bad guy from Germany in World War II, the H guy who led Germany in World War II, somebody tweets and says he wasn't far right, he was far left. And today's woke left shares nearly the same identical ideology with the really evil guy who ran Germany in World War II. Elon responds, true. Yeah, not true. The H-man who was running Germany was actually right-wing. He actually was basically attacking communists and socialists. Everybody on the left wing was killing them. Communists and socialists were his target. He was not a member of them at all. He really specialized in going after gays, people with disabilities, in terms of killing them, people of color, and immigrants. Let me ask you, Elon, if you're trying to figure out which political party doesn't like gays, doesn't like people with disabilities, doesn't like immigrants, and doesn't like people of color, and doesn't like socialists and communists, which party would that tend to be? True? I don't know. But Elon, again, and I bring it up just because it's part of the creepy shit that Elon keeps doing. There's something with that guy that's really effed up, unfortunately. There's just something very screwed up with him. And he tweets this kind of crap that's obviously untrue, but it's also feeding this extremism. You know, it's just very creepy. Just very creepy. Anyway, what else we got? Oh yes, the Defense Department is going to conduct a comprehensive line-by-line review of every course taught at the military academies and senior service colleges, measuring each against a single standard, whether it directly advances tactical, operational, or strategic warfighting. Donald Trump is bringing the culture wars into the defense colleges, the service schools we use to train future military officers and future military leaders. He's now going to use his weird culture war thing, you know, with you know, lunatic Secretary of Defense Hegseth, in order to change the teaching curriculum. Yeah. What else? Alexa, lower the temperature 1 degree. Oh, this was a crazy story too from the Wall Street Journal. Listen to this one. Almost every night in the White House, President Trump calls his fundraiser, Meredith O'Rourke, for an update. Trump asks O'Rourke which companies and donors have cut checks and which haven't, and for how much. He means cut checks to like his pet projects. He often asks her to make much larger financial requests than she was planning. For some donors, the ask is $5 million. For others, it's $50 million. And the president gives her names to call, often including people who have recently met with him, according to people knowledgeable of the calls. This is very important to the president. He's asked me to call you and ask you for this donation, O'Rourke has relayed on phone calls with companies, persistently following up with them. In some calls, she has referred to Trump as the boss, saying the boss wants this money. Several CEO and board members say they believe there is a link between their contributions and their access to the president. One chairman of a publicly traded company said that if you give the money, you know you are either checked on a list or crossed off a list if you don't. Again, he's going to pardon all these people because they all should be in prison. And unfortunately, he's going to pardon them and possibly get away with it. If he pardons them, he probably will get away with it. This is sick stuff. And again, it still boggles my mind that he can just get away with all this crap. You know, there's still a little more to this. It's mobster. It is mobster stuff. Yeah, pay me off and to get access. Well, he's doing it now with his we talked about this, with his tweets. His tweets on his social media app, his Truth Social. Trump is now charging $100,000 for Wall Street companies to get early access to his tweets. It's companies that need information in order to make trades on Wall Street. And for $100,000 a month, you too can have early access to Donald Trump's tweets, so to speak, on his social media platform, in which he announces government decisions he's made. So people who pay $100,000 to Donald Trump's private company can get early access to Donald Trump's public decisions as president. Oh yeah, it's happening. Google it, $100,000. $100,000. Doesn't really matter who knows how early it is. It's early enough to make a trade that nobody else can make. Yeah. Insider trading, sounds like it. Illegal, sounds like it. Buying influence, sounds like it. The president is literally being paid for his information, for his insider trading information. No, again, Joe Biden, Barack Obama, again, the corruption is nonstop. This is what they do in banana republics. This is what they do in dictators. This is the kind of crap Putin does. Nobody's stopping him because our government is currently run by Republicans. Republicans control the Congress, Republicans control the court system, and Republicans control the White House. That's why no one's stopping him. Thank you, Annie. That's why no one's stopping him. That would be a goat, Annie. Which goat would you like? We can have a goat break before we get to the next depressing story. Make sure you keep more gifts coming in, guys, please. I appreciate it. Annie, goat, 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 goat. Oh, wait for Eddie's goat. Take a quick break here. Oh man, Halloween. I figured Halloween's always a good one. I know Halloween is appropriate for the moment. One more time. Oh, interesting. Sorry, JTA was saying that Alice Weidel, the top politician of the AfD, which is the far-right party in Germany, has said on live TV on election talk show that the H-man who ran Germany during World War II was a left-oriented person. Oh, and Elon's a big fan of hers? Okay, that makes sense then. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Omar anyway, but that's not the point. We're talking about Somalia, somebody was talking about. Donald Trump is not attacking Minnesota for good reasons. He's attacking them because some of their citizens are black, the state is run by Democrats, and some of the citizens are Muslim. That's why he's attacking Minnesota. And I ain't no fan of Omar, who's the congresswoman that originally came from Somalia. That doesn't give you the excuse to be a blazing racist. It does not. But let me see. Oh, a little bit more of Ukraine news, some of the Ukraine news. So Trump, get this. Trump this weekend is no longer sure he wants to let Ukraine manufacture Patriot missiles, which he agreed to a few weeks ago. He changed his mind. Many people think he changed his mind after talking to Vladimir Putin. Changed his mind. Doesn't really want to be as helpful to Ukraine anymore. What a surprise. NBC. Meanwhile, NBC reports that Russia is sharing valuable intel with Iran to help them better attack American troops. Yay! More Ukrainian attacks on Wildberries. This is good. Wildberries is Russia's Amazon, basically. A company akin to Amazon. It's the largest online retailer in Russia. It's called Wildberries. Has nothing to do with Amazon, but it's Amazon. I mean, in terms of the kind of company it is. Thank you, Brown-Eyed. I guess we are finally getting close to Halloween again, aren't we? Almost. Listen to this. Jay and Kiev writes, as the day progresses, Russia's Wildberries, Ukraine has been attacking Wildberries for weeks now, blowing up warehouse after warehouse after warehouse. It affects 1 million Russians. 1 million Russian small businesses use the warehouses at Wildberries to house their stuff. So these attacks are affecting 1 million Russian businesses. I mean, huge. Now, the company helps provide resources to the military, so valid target. Oh, well, I actually wouldn't have a problem either way, to be honest, but nonetheless, it is providing value because Russia's been attacking, civilian installations in Ukraine for 5 years. But Jane Keefe, as the day progresses, Russia's Wildberries facility in Novosemmeskino, Samara region, continues to be engulfed in raging hellfire. This is the latest attack they did this weekend. Having only opened for operations in May of 2025, the current 130,000 meters squared held around 120 million items. It held 120 million products, making the facility the sixth largest in Russia, sixth largest warehouse in Russia. It was about to be expanded to 176,000 meters squared, which would have made it the third largest storage facility in Russia. It is now aflame. I don't know if I've got it. Let me see. I had a really good video this weekend that was so good, I thought it was fake. It was insane. And then I saw other videos, and I think it's real. Oh, you know what? I don't think I've got it. Shoot. I thought I did. Nope, I don't think I have it. It was amazing video. I mean, the video this weekend was better than the other video. So anyway, they're on fire. Oh, well, sorry. What else we got here? One or two more stories. 1 second, guys. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Horrible video. I don't think I can show you this video. It's a little too, it's graphic in a way, but it's not. Ukraine is flying a drone, Ukrainian military, in the Sochi region. Sochi is like, I want to say Sochi, I think, is southeast of Ukraine. I'm pretty sure it is. Regardless, the Ukrainians are flying in, which actually makes sense because they're flying in over the sea. And they're coming in over the sea. It was the Olympics, but where it's located was what I meant. They're coming in over the sea to land to go after a military target. And the Russian military decides they're going to shoot down the Ukrainian drone right where it is. It's over a crowded beach. The Russian military shoots it down, this drone with a bomb inside. It comes down in the middle of the beach because it got shot down and explodes, kills 3 people at least, injured at least 13 others because the Russian military was so idiotic. They decided to shoot down a plane over a crowded civilian beach. I mean, that's who we're dealing with. And the video is pretty bad though, because you literally see like a massive explosion on the beach. You're not close enough to see anything, but I still feel like that might be a little too much for TikTok to handle. So sorry. we have to have things with a G rating when we're on TikTok. So crazy stuff. Finally, this is interesting. Finally, Zelensky is proposing an air ceasefire, an end to strikes on energy infrastructure, a freeze of the war along the current front line, and the start of difficult negotiations with Russia. He also says he's ready for a direct meeting with Putin. Probably a good tactic. I think it's probably Zelensky, trying to get back into Trump's good graces, would be my guess. But not a bad idea. Yeah, I'm sure it's on TikTok too. I just don't, I don't trust TikTok with stuff like that. TikTok can be very arbitrary in what they like and don't like. So sometimes I found it's better not to poke TikTok. So I did not put the video up. I would have liked to have put it up because it probably would have gotten some good traffic. But as I said, TikTok is funny about those things. I'm sure Joey showed it, but TikTok, I have a habit of TikTok slapping me around when I put stuff like that up, so I'm not going to do it. Anyway. All right, that's it for the news. We got actually 10 minutes. That was a lot of news today. Well, the reflecting pool stuff was complicated. Hopefully I explained it well. I hope. Anyway. Ooh la 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 la. Target was 300 feet from the beach. It might have been. But again, the Russians shot it down. It's like, oh well, really, really dumb, but that's what they do. So, oh well. Anyway, what else, guys? What else? It's very sunny today. Not too warm. Actually, 83. It's a beautiful weather though. But very, very nice day. Our weather actually it was raining this week. It was supposed to rain all week, but it didn't rain. It rained yesterday a lot, but it was supposed to rain today, but it didn't. So I don't know. Not sure what's going on. And then remember, in a week, thank you, Terry. Thank you for the robot bot. But remember, in a week, I go to Arizona to go see my nephews. That should be fun. Oh, that's right. The Moscow restaurant bombing. That was interesting. That happened while I was gone too. So I don't know that we know any more about it. A woman tried to enter a Moscow restaurant. She was turned away and she had a bomb on her. The bomb went off. It killed 3 people, including herself. I don't know. Let me check the news today because when it first happened, there was no more news about it. That's all we knew. Here we go. Ooh, let's see. Russian President Putin's drive to project, this is from Fox News, to project normalcy in Moscow may have created a dangerous security blind spot, giving adversaries like Ukraine greater opportunities to target Kremlin's military elite. The assessment came after a deadly explosion ripped through an upscale Moscow restaurant on August 1st, where a senior Russian general was reportedly attending a private celebration. Okay, I did see a report about this, but I didn't see it confirmed. Several Russian media outlets claimed the bombing targeted Colonel General Alexander Chaiko. I did see that report, but as I said, it wasn't confirmed, so I was like, otherwise I would have done a video on it. Who led the troops, listen to this, who led the troops that made a botched attempt to storm the Ukrainian capital in 2022 and recently was appointed chief of Russia's aerospace forces. The claims could not be verified. If Chaiko was indeed at the restaurant, that would establish a compelling motive for Ukraine, says a Eurasia expert, but there's been an ongoing discourse inside Russia despite numerous such attacks. Russian elites and even military fighters continue to flout operational security best practices by holding parties like this in the first place. Oh my God. Oh my God. The Russia's National Anti-Terrorism Committee said an unidentified woman carried an improvised explosive device to the restaurant. The committee said the woman was stopped by security before the bomb was detonated near the restaurant's entrance. The Russian embassy in Rome on Monday said 5 people were killed and 19 were injured. Wow. Wow. Let me see here. Let me see here. These means was executed are also consistent with other assassinations deep inside. Yeah, I mean, it could have been Ukraine. It's consistent with other assassinations Ukraine did. Ukraine, remember, blew up a restaurant in St. Petersburg. So it could very well have been, I'm looking to see, I'm not seeing, let's see here. Hour ago from the Washington Post. Let's see if that's got more. I don't think we know more, but the problem is we can't trust the Russians, you know? Today from this morning, Russian embassy in Rome on Monday blamed Ukraine for a deadly bombing. Yeah, describing it as an attempt to intimidate the Italian community in Russia. Yeah, I'm going to guess the bombing had nothing to do with the Italian community in Russia. I'm going to guess it was there to, intimidate the Russian community in Russia and basically to take out a Russian general and his top staff. That's why it happened. I love this. They wanted to scare the Italians working in Russia. Yeah, their propaganda doesn't work too well there. Let me see here. Yeah, we can't trust the Russians describing what happened, though. We still don't know. Some claimed several Russian media outlets claimed the bombing targeted a Russian general who was celebrating his birthday. Yeah, it could have been him. It could have been him. The bomb hidden in a gift box was probably detonated remotely, and the woman carrying it could have been unaware of the content. Yikes. Blah, blah, blah. Then it mentions other things. Ukraine did a car bomb, killing a general, another car bomb, killing another general. Deputy head of Moscow's military intelligence was shot 3 times at a Moscow apartment building but survived. December 2024, a bomb hidden in a scooter killed Lieutenant General Kirillov. There was the car bomb that killed Daria Dugina, who's the daughter of the influential ultra-nationalist, and killed a prominent pro-Kremlin military blogger. That was the one at the restaurant St. Petersburg. Like I said, these guys, the Ukrainians, are very good, and they get their. Oh, hello, my arm is falling down. Don't do that. Don't do that. Oops. Is that the right way? I don't know if this is the right way to tighten it. It might be. It may or may not be the right way to tighten the arm here. Hopefully, we'll see. Anyway, yeah, good. Oh well, oh well. What do you do? Perhaps you shouldn't have invaded Ukraine in the first place. Oh well. Exactly. Being a Russian general is almost as dangerous as being a Spinal Tap drummer. Oops. Trying to get this out. Anyway, good night, Jeffrey. So yeah, we're almost done here. We're almost done. There we go. Ejecting my camera battery, my camera memory. All right, let's try to take this out. There we go. Opa, there we go. My little battery, my little memory. Yeah, very interesting. No, they're good at this. They're very good at this. Oh well. They must, well, they may have friends in Russia who help, or I believe the scooter bomb may have been set up by somebody who wasn't fully, it was either somebody being blackmailed or somebody being paid. It was some, but who wasn't sure what was going on. I remember reading the scooter script. Mars, anybody who reaches out to any of you and claims to be me is not me. No, no. TikTok, unfortunately, has always had too many scammers pretending to be us. I am never going to reach out to you on my own. Yeah, yeah. It's always fake. It's always fake. So, anyway, but yeah, I forgot what I was saying, but I wanted to respond to that because that was a very important point that she made. Yeah, no, I mean, the good thing is most of you, almost everybody I've dealt with, when they get contacted by these guys, they're like, John wants me to invest in crypto? That's a little fucked up. I will not be asking you those kind of scammy things. Those are scammers, unfortunately. Yeah, Elon Musk requests to follow you every day. You're very popular, Dawn. We haven't gotten fake Elon Musks in a while. Remember, we used to always get them during our show, the fake Elon Musks? And it was like, and he was like, hello, I am Elon Musk. It was like something out of Saturday Night Live or something, So, Keanu. I haven't seen Keanu. That's funny. You get Keanu? That's very funny. I never reach out to you, WC. I know. So sad. So sad. Yes. Hello, WC. It's me, John Aravosis. How are you this evening? I wanted to reach out to you personally just to say hello. Tell me that wouldn't be a little creepy. Yes, hello, American. That's right. I forgot about that one, Manda. I totally forgot about. Was that what the person said? I actually forgot about that one. Hello, American. It was like yes, yes. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Oh my God, Keanu's. That's funny. Bruce. I forgot who I used to get some movie star, a woman, I'm forgetting who it was. They would always, it was funny, they would always send me like the hot chicks, which I always found pretty funny. It was like, yeah. Actually, I used to respond to them. It was pretty funny because there's a real person there. They would usually get some woman like this, and get the profile and send me like, hey, beautiful, or whatever. How are you doing today? And I'd write back, or how are you feeling today? And I said, feeling very gay. And they'd write back and put LOL, and I was like, yeah. I said, yeah, really barking up the wrong tree. They're like, okay. But at least I would get an LOL out of them. I was like, all right, at least you're a good spirited scammer. It's like, oh my God. But literally, it's like, oh my God. Oh man. Anyway, so I got some fresh tomatoes from the farmer's market out in Virginia. And I was thinking I want to maybe make a tomato tart, which I've never done, but I've got to find a good recipe for it. Because I don't want something that's kind of bland or whatever, but I'm not sure. I've got to figure out. I was Googling around, but I wasn't quite sure. I'm assuming a good recipe would be like cheese and tomato, maybe. I mean, you could do I don't think a quiche would be quite right. I think a quiche would taste too wet. Your friend has a great one? What does that mean, Poppy? But anyway, yes, so I'm looking for a good tomato tart recipe. What's a tomato tart? I'm thinking goat cheese. Yeah. Yeah. David has a recipe. David. Oh, David Leibowitz. Oh, does he? Figures he would. Hopefully, is it easy enough? I'll check it out. That's a good idea. Tomato tart would be like pie crust, tomato, probably some kind of cheese, maybe something else with it, and you cook it in the oven so the tomato and the cheese kind of, you know. I don't want to make a tomato sauce. I think a spaghetti sauce would be wasting them, you know. Or put it on Discord. Sure, sure. Thank you, Jackie. But I'll check David's recipe as well. That's a really good idea because he probably does have something. Oh, you have a green thumb? What are you talking about? Well, these aren't my tomatoes. I do have my tomatoes. Actually, are finally. I'm finally got like a ton of little baby tomatoes ripening, the cherry tomatoes, but which is annoying that they're all ripening at once. Of course, let me see. David Leibovitz tomato tart. Fresh tomato tart recipe. All right. Let's see. Let's jump to David's recipe and have a look. His exposition is fun, but I don't want to read it right now. Love you, David. Here we go. Tart filling, Dijon mustard, 2 to 3 large ripe tomatoes, olive oil, chopped herbs, thyme, chives. Okay, I've got chives. 2 generous tablespoons, probably all my chives. 8 ounces of slightly aged goat cheese. I don't think I'm going to use feta. I think goat would be better. I do think goat. Feta would be okay. Goat would be better with tomato. Tart dough, flour, unsalted butter. I may have to buy more unsalted butter. I may be getting low on that. Egg. Okay. Right. All right. Preheat oven. Let's see. Thin layer of mustard over the bottom of the tart. Slice the tomatoes and arrange them over the mustard in a single even layer. Sprinkle, drizzle olive oil. Sprinkle with some chopped fresh herbs. Then arrange the slices of goat cheese on top. That's it. Add some more herbs, then drizzle with some honey. Oh, that sounds interesting. Actually, that does sound interesting. Bake the tart for 30 minutes. Oh, okay. Well, that's rather easy. Okay. I'm liking that. All right. I'll have to see. Okay. All right. Well, that does look very easy. Fresh basil probably would be good. I would agree. Yeah. Because basil with tomato and goat cheese would be a nice combo. I don't have fresh basil. Usually I grow basil this summer. I didn't do it this summer. I usually do. All right. I'm sending this to myself so I don't forget. Come on, iPad. Bring up me. There I am. There I am. All right. There we go. Well, that's good. Yeah, maybe I'll try that tomorrow. I'm not a big thyme fan. I think thyme would be weird. I think I've got some chives. I don't know if I have enough chives. That's the question. I don't know if I do. But we'll see. We'll see. So that's good. Okay, good to know. Good to know. Yeah, no, tomato tart, very good idea. Hot honey. I don't like hot, but you could use hot, I'm sure. You know? Anyway, very interesting. Very interesting. So, yeah, thyme is too strong for me. I don't like it. No. I've got some chives. My chives, though, grew very slow this year. I'm not very happy with them. They grew very slow. But I could certainly add chives. I've got some, I've got some scallions, maybe. I don't know. But the chive thing, I've got chives. I don't know that I got 2 tablespoons worth, but I've got chives. I could just use those. Because I think the tomato and the goat cheese is going to be a pretty good combo to start with. I don't think I've got goat cheese in the freezer. I had bought a big goat cheese. I don't think it's in my freezer. I have to look and see. Maybe I do. And I'll go shopping tomorrow. All right. Okay. I'm feeling better now. Thank you for that. Good suggestion. Yeah, chives and goat cheese is wonderful. And like I said, the tomatoes, these really nice tomatoes from the farm. Not cheap, but it was worth, Chives and scallions, totally different. Scallions are onions, a kind of onion, a little weaker. Chives are different. I don't know. God knows how to describe a chive. But they're different. Yeah. I don't know how you describe it. It's similar. My suspicion is they're probably in that same they might be in the same family. What's that family that onions and garlic and everything are part of? I think garlic's part of that family too. Chives might be in that family. I forget. But they're still very different than scallions. Green onions, they're called. Alliums, exactly. Are they all alliums or not? I don't know. Are they all part of that family though? I don't know. Chives are, you know? Chives are the onion family. Okay, yeah, yeah. But they're different. Like onions raw, I don't like. Chives raw are great. Scallion greens are very good. I actually leave the scallion base in the ground so it just keeps growing. So that way it grows every year. It survives the winter. Even in Chicago, it would survive the winter. So if you like always want to have your scallions of your green peppers available, plant them in the ground outside, go and snip them, and you'll always have green onions. So very nice thing. It's a nice way to a nice. Oh, thank you, Christina. Appreciate that. The dino party. Squeeze the day. Cute. Anyway, all right, guys. Chives are a type of the allium, the same family as onion, garlic, leeks, and scallions. There you go. Okay, I thought so. Yeah, but they're definitely milder. Because like I wouldn't want raw onions on something, but chives would be really nice. Like chives with sour cream, you'd often have. I'm trying to think what you would serve it with. Maybe a Mexican dish, maybe. Um, Chives are nice. Yeah. Thank you, Christina. It is too cute. Thank you. Um, ah, yeah, this like onions, I find onions to be too strong. Like I like them sauteed. I don't like them. Chives and a baked potato, that's true. Yeah, I was trying to think of what else you'd serve it with, you know? Yeah, it's 7:25. I'm gonna get going, guys. We're almost 7:25. So yes, tomorrow I may make my tart. We shall see. I'll look in the morning and see what I've got. And then actually I can look right now and see maybe if I've got I don't think I've got I thought I might have had some goat cheese that I froze. I'm not sure, but I have to get the unsalted butter too. I had a ton, and I may finally be running low. Had tons of it before. Chives on a fried egg. That's true. I would use chives for eggs, like scrambled eggs. They're very good too. Yep, that's true. Yep, sour cream and chives with potatoes or with potato chips or chips, depending what you mean by chips. If you're British, you might mean French fries. Mashed potatoes? Yeah. Well, the same thing as a baked potato. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Although I like I don't love baked potatoes. I love mashed potatoes. It's kind of funny. Baked potatoes, I'm like, a little indifferent on. I mean, unless you totally go to town on it and basically turn it into a mashed potato, right? Like you put the sour cream and the cheese and the chives, and then you beat the hell out of it, and you've made a baked potato into a mashed potato. Then it's okay. But you've literally changed what it is, you know? All right. I have a good night, guys. We're 7:25 almost. I will see you all tomorrow. Yeah, exactly. That I wasn't sure if the person saying chips was talking about potato chips or crisps, whatever I don't even know what chips are crisps. I don't know. I wasn't sure if kind-hearted is American or not, though. I couldn't remember, so I wasn't quite sure. You guys confused me. Yep, chives and goat cheese and the scrambled eggs would be good. Yeah. All right, guys. I'm gonna sign off. So thank you for joining us. Thanks for the gifts, hanging out, mods as always. Thank you all. And I will see you all mañana. All right. And I will check out Dawn. I think is sending me. Yes, Dawn is sending me a recipe as well. I will check out Dawn's recipe too. All right. Substackers or Discordians first. Have a good night. Substack, you're next, along with YouTube and everybody but TikTok. So I will say good night to the rest of you here. Oh, hey, Marion. Sorry. Sorry, signing off. Call or check in with me later. We should catch up. All right, Marion's an old friend from school. All right, see you guys.